Brought to you by beer and Subway thingy bobs. Thank you very much, guys. It's the afternoon, you've had a few beers, you're now relaxing, so if you want to sleep during this, I will throw things at you if I notice you nodding off. So, my name's Mohan. I have a day job, as Patrick mentioned, for a large financial company, but let's move that aside and pretend I don't. Internet Storm Center Handler, so any of you guys or girls that haven't seen that one, we are about 35 volunteers that kind of help out and point out bad things happening on the internet. People writing to us from all over the world. We get the people that have got some interesting challenges, like everybody in the world is chasing after us, to some very serious people with some very serious problems. So the NTP attacks and then them getting blasted comes from that. I do have a 100 meters swimming certificate, which I'm still proud of my fridge next to the system. So, yeah. Logs. I was going to say it's probably one of the most oldest topics. Then log picking came along and that's completely blown me out of the water. So, and then the guys just before me started talking about how they've scanned the internet and no one's noticed. So we're in a good position to be in to talk about logs. So, if you haven't seen or listened to Patrick on his internet tube things, when he has his podcast with that, he normally has this really cheery way of saying, the end of the world's about to happen, eek. Every week we get some horror story popping up. My favourite one here, there is 300,000 devices got popped. No one knows how it is. How do these things happen? Surely this is a horror story. No, apparently we've got that. Now, if you're playing a drinking game of special security words, I work for an American company, we love cyber crimes. We love other disasters, and I've picked some of my favourite topics from there. So, Digital Pearl Harbor? Yes. Cybergeddon. Our very good Russian friends telling us that the world's going to end as we know it. I just want to point out that was 2 years ago, so I'm not quite sure where we are on this one. These stories keep rolling on. Actually, I could pick stories from this week and last week of how many disasters we're seeing. They just come and tick on. The DDoS that Patrick's already stolen most of my material and talked about already. But these events are happening day in and day out, and people are just horrified. They just don't know what's going on. Java. Who would have thought Java was going to be a problem? And this is what I've made this nice and small because we all love Apple and there's never any problems, but one security manager's faith has been shaken in Apple. It's not as secure as I thought it was. Steve, come back to us. He may still be here, we don't know. Windows XP, it's going to end after 14 years of running successfully and having no problems at all. It's coming to an end. And we're asleep at the wheel. Who knew having Service Pack 1 on XP is going to cause us problems? Who knew? This goes on and on. It's not just the internet that's bad. No, they can do it over the airwaves. It's like this wireless stuff. And if you go to the guys at the back of the room, I'm sure they can tell you what that wireless stuff is. It's never going to take on that. It doesn't just stop. We don't have to worry just about the ponies. We have to worry about the animals. They're killing the ponies. Sadly, this is a really true, horrible story. In Africa, they've actually got tags on the elephants to know where they are, and poachers are using that bits of log information to find out where they are, track and get the ivory down. So, fairly hideous, but unfortunately, sadly true. I love this. Adverts take over porn. I mean, when does that happen? What's gone wrong with our society? That is brilliant. I knew you picked that up. I'm going to play on my phone with a very attractive young lady behind me just sitting there going, oh, I've got an iPad on this crappy Android thing. Data breaches. If you have been dead or locked on the moon, or probably further away from the moon, you would have noticed that every single US retailer has been hit by these sort of things. Thankfully, Australian companies are completely safe in that. We have no worries about that at all. And you know, if you're looking for a job in APACHE, for example, their CIO apparently left recently. Don't know what happened there. Lolcats, just for everybody out there, especially our friends out there. We love you, Scott. APACHE! Apparently the Chinese, nothing to do with the Russians. Moving on quickly. And if you weren't RSA, and know Patrick was, you didn't get a chance to see CrowdStrike turning their MacBook Pro into some sort of pizza cooker thing. Okay, what the hell is this all got to do with everything? Well, part of the problem we actually face is that all this information, once the bad guys are hitting us, is actually logged somewhere. But no one seems to notice it. It's mysterious. And we mentioned Brian Krebs. Brian is a great journalist. Have a look at his stuff, follow his blog, chat to him, listen and so forth. But he seems to find this information out from forums. Let me paint this picture for you. Bad guy has broken in, they've stolen new stuff, they've had a chat for about 3 or 4 months, and then they post it onto a forum where they then sell it. Then a journalist goes, hey, 14 million credit cards, who would have thought? And people are just like shocked. How did you find this out first, Brian? Even the companies themselves don't seem to know about it. Until a journalist knocked on the door and says, hey, can I get a statement from you, please? And if you don't believe me, go and have a look at the 2 latest ones, which was Sally Beauty was one of them, and there was another one with lollipops or something strange, I can't remember off the top of my head. But these people are amazed that they're finding out from breaches actually on websites and being notified afterwards. Okay, I'm not going to mention our friends start with A. So sit down for a minute. We all have stuff that saved us. And I've used the original Star Trek because in the good old days of Star Trek, they bashed the crap out of things. You know, if Kirk's got a problem, he goes down there and beats the living bejesus out of the bad guy and wins. He usually gets hot chick as well, so that's good. But they always had buttons to just press things and stuff would do stuff. You know, make shit go. Press that button there, move a lever around. You know, there was no camera flare and use stuff. It was old-fashioned bits where they had to run from side to side in the stores. Everybody's got these new shiny toys that is supposed to protect them. Yeah? It's great. And these shiny boxes will keep us safe. Which is completely true. We know that if I was at RSA, I could have bought the next gen file. Yeah? It's keeping me safe from APTs, the internet, and the lolcats as far as I can work out. How's it doing this? It's doing this by simply taking what it knows. So we've bashed the antivirus industry, and I'm not here to bash those guys. I'm just saying they do a job, and they've got known set signatures, and they work from there. Most of the toys we've got are trying to do the same things. When we start relying on computers to think for us, that doesn't work so well. If you remember those 3 particular types of systems there, they go up in age, obviously. And any of those that have only seen infographics, that's what they look like. But these systems are only as smart as it goes for. Anybody who plays computer games here knows that there was the good old-fashioned arcade games. That if you walk your character onto the screen too far, all the bad guys come rushing in. But if you move like that, 1 comes in, you can beat the crap out of it. 2 moves, you can beat the crap out of it. 3, I'm a god, I'll just beat everybody up. That's because the computer systems don't have the intelligence to work out what people know. If there was a guy there, he'd be like, hey, what the hell are you doing shuffling in there? Let's just send all 30 and kick the crap out of it, or let it go. Computers don't think that way. They work by logical people trying to tell them what to do. And if you're a clever, good attacker or threat actor, you'll work out your way around this one. So what the hell is this all to do with logs? As I said, pretty much every single device that you have keeps information and data on those ones. Yeah? Your phones, GPS. Fancy Apple tracking you using your GPS. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? I've no idea. But they do. And they kept doing this for quite some time. So we believe in the systems we've got to tell us how these things work. So let me wind you back a bit. Log file, what is it? When something happens, it gets written into a file. Thank you, Wikipedia. That's my college work all done there. I can just copy and paste that stuff. Now the thing is, this isn't anything new. A lot of the techniques you see today, and a lot of the hacking techniques that bad guys still use, was actually written back in 1986 by a guy called Clifford Stoll in the Cookie Test. Brilliant book. If you haven't read it, seriously, it's still incredibly relevant now. You do instant response. You need to read that book. Because he does things in there that are common sense that we've stopped doing. And if you can do the math, I can finish drinking my beer and I won't be able to. But if you do the math, this has been many, many years since we've had these problems. And I said, everything he's written down is valid. If you look at, he used to do clever things like capture every single command coming in over the wire and copy it to a printer. Okay, well, we got big data. No, we don't have big data. We've got a problem that we've got too much crap going on. We don't know what we're looking for, and then we're trying to find that needle in the haystack. We've got to stop that thinking, which is the absolute nightmare. Now, there are many types of logs. As I said, every single device actually does logging, whether it's in debug mode or record NSA mode. That's up to you. But in most cases, we're looking at I'm going to talk about web services today because it's a nice, easy topic. Everybody's got a web server in their workplace, hopefully, possibly at homes like blogs and so forth. Their fridge is soon going to have it. It's toothbrush is going to have it. Toilet's going to have a web server of some kind. You're looking at home automation systems. Have you ever scanned some home automation systems? About 6 months ago, some guy got a Philips LED lighting strip, and it was a simple web server, which he was able to blow up. He got his lights just turned into a disco, and they go pop, and away they go. The way to fix it was the good old reboot. That was the only way to fix it, because you'd have a full-on disco going through those ones. And this is going to get more and more pervasive in those ones. The projectors, for example, if I'm using a device on my Apple phone, I want to connect up to it, on my Android phone, I'm going to connect up to it. It's using web servers. Printers at home, the wireless printing, they're web servers. And as our friends that scanned the internet recently would have found, things that connect into the internet should log if you turn it on. If you turn it on. We've already mentioned in the talks already, and you kind of picked up before, but threat actors scan the internet. Nice people scan the internet, but not so nice people scan the internet. What these threat actors are looking for is not just kicks and giggles. They're looking for the watering hole attack. Watering hole attacks, just in case you haven't run into that particular vendor speak, is where you find a favourite website. So let's say Sydney Morning Herald is your paper of choice. The bad guys know you go there all the time. They put some malicious software on it. This would never happen, obviously, not Sydney Morning Herald. But some malware would go on that one, you go to that site, you get infected, you're a targeted attack on those ones. Phishing sites. Fancy, if I worked for a financial institution and phishing was a big problem for us, we'd know about it, surely. Bad guys use phishing attacks for your online banking, they'll use it for your credit card stuff, for your RSA tokens. Can't think why they do that. Finally, it's the hops and redirect. So we've already talked about this really, but if a threat actor wants to make it very hard for you to trace them down, they're going to pick 4 countries, 5 countries, 6 countries where they don't like each other. So, Australia and England during cricket season. Let's pick those 2 if they hate each other. And then Australia, New Zealand, China, Israel, we can pick the list and just pick our favourite geopolitical problems. Russia, we're finding they own everything in that part of the world now, so no problems there. But you've got to bounce off between those points there. So bad guys are actively doing this. If you read the paper, there's a great paper just written by Citizen Labs, where they've actually picked up a number of attackers buying servers in America, of all places, to take over regimes. It's a software to find out what you're doing and where you are. So those group regimes that want to know exactly what you're up to, they're actually tracking through the US, and they found about 30 or 40 different servers in the US. Big guesses that these guys have been using. Yeah. And everyone's amazed. We just don't know how these guys are doing it. But what you do, you can track them pretty bloody easily. You just have to have a basic stop trusting the shining flashing lights on your boxes, and the box is saying going for them. You need to step back. You need to understand what's actually going on. And this is one of our really large problems in this industry. And I don't mean to particularly preach, but I'm going to. Where's my soapbox? Anyway, right, no soapbox, but I have a beer instead. Okay. We need to actually understand what's going on logs. It helps us troubleshoot, it helps us work out what's actually going on in our environment. Stop trusting the box, stop trusting Skynet. Okay? One of the horrible things that I always see junior incident responders do is there's a major incident on, they look at the log for the first time in their life and then freak out because it's 20,000 lines, 40,000 lines, 2 million lines, 2 billion lines. Because no one's bothered looking at the full end. And they're trying to work out what it means and if it actually has information that's useful to them. Stop that. Logs aren't going to stop what's happening in the future, but they do allow you to predict what's going on. So we just saw the guys doing scanning, right? So the guy showed you they scanned a whole bunch of systems and they were incrementing through ports. So what are you going to expect after? So if something connects to my VNC of 5900, okay? Is it likely that someone's going to try and connect to that afterwards if they're an attacker? More than possible. So should I go and check the logs on that one? Or see if there's been any strange activity from that box internal in my network? It's thinking about these things. Bad guys do realise that logs are there and defenders will use them. Really? Most bad guys don't give a monkeys. You can see that in all the reports. Those reports I went through, the bad guys didn't care. They're just like, man, who noticed? And we had one out of how many different companies these guys did the scanning on over. One person complained about it that we know of. Okay? So that's saying most of us are asleep at the wheel. That's it. Alcohol always helps when going through log review. Really, it does. It helps you focus the mind. And things might seem blurry, you can go back and think about it a bit later on. So, bad guys. Threat actors, adversaries, whatever you want to call them, apart from hackers. But threat adversaries up there. The first case, they're going to want to know the organisation. Super smart ones will do all the social engineering reconnaissance and never ever touch a system until they have to. So they'll work out everything about it, socially engineer you, go to events like this, get your business card, phone up your friends and family. Social engineering does a much better job than the computer stuff. But if I want to steal top secret files at some stage, hopefully there's going to have to be a connection to your network. And that's where this whole cycle from here downwards in the APT model, or box standard CRIMEWARE, or box standard malware, is where you're going to pick up these people. And we can record that information. Oh my goodness, they're elite super ninjas, they're all rockstar, superstar snowflakes of a special nature, is irrelevant as long as you're recording them. Because you go back and look at this, and if you look at the manual APT1 report, that's pretty much what they do. They make a huge amount of money about turning up to your company and saying, can you show me your log files, please? Great, you were breached 3 months ago, here, here, and here. And they go through this step, this step, this step, and this step, and they went out again. How can they get that information from log files? And it's not that they've got some spy in the company, they're just looking for the log files. When Mandian did that great report on North Carolina, and the breach of credit card data, they went through every single step and they were able to publish that information in incredible detail because they looked at the log files. Nothing else. They didn't have, as I said, they didn't have any advanced intelligence or whatever. They sat through the log files and went, yep, they did that, where's this go to? It goes here, and mapped it through. Why have we lost that ability to do that? Well, that just kind of throws them out. So, looking at logs can be scary. There's lots of lines on the screen, and there's numbers, and there's things that go on there. And honestly, if you've ever sat at a help desk and shown one of these guys in the first place, like a list like that, with scrolls and scrolls and scrolls and scrolls, flashing lights and cursor lines are very scary. That's why I'm an MCSC. next, finish, unless it's, no, MCSC, sorry. But seriously, you look through this, and overwhelming people with information is always problematic because it doesn't matter what it is. If you start overwhelming people, they'll never get it. They'll just simply step back and scream. So it's our jobs to educate people. And this information, when you break down line by line, is a heck of a lot easier. So really simple Apache web log. If you go to the Apache log itself, it shows you how to read logs through the systems. Most times I find people reading logs is after they've been attacked or wondering what's going on. So I mentioned the Internet Storm Center, people write into us and say, hey, we've got this problem. And we say, okay, well, send us in your either PCAPs, the malware you've got, or your log files. How do I get log files? So we go through the process to send it in. Then we say, well, you're missing certain bits of this. There are certain files and pieces of that data are going. It's like, well, we didn't know about that. Should we go on an expensive training to do that? And my answer is yes. Spend as much money as possible to keep the economy going. Really. Get as many qualifications as possible because that's good for HR and LinkedIn. Yeah. No, but seriously, people need to spend time doing this. Stop doing all the deep level coding and worrying about if my non-vendor specific IDS system is flashing lights at me and I have to turn it from red to green by right-clicking. Find out what the heck it's flashing on in the first place. Go back and actually look at where the system came from, where it's pulling the information from. There are some great amalgamation softwares out there. I'm not going to mention any of them, but there are some great ones out there. But if you're not using them properly, they're completely useless to you. So let's just go through. So I'm just going to give you an example of what I look for when I get logs. Okay, first off is everything in green is my first thing to look at. So we're looking at IP address there, the information it's trying to get, followed by where it came from and the user agent. Why is that useful? Well, IP address. Let's say we're an Australian company, we have Australian workers. If I see an IP address come from Ukraine, or from Brazil, or from the US, should I be concerned? Yes, hopefully. I know you're all drunk, but yes, we should be concerned. Followed by other crazy bits of information. So followed by other crazy bits of information. What you don't want to do is you want to understand what your company does. You want to understand what should be on your web service roughly. You don't need to know everything, but just have an understanding. If I see a really weird refer URL like sexy monkey 123 forum of love / evil hacker / 123 / 896 question mark something, that's probably not a good referral to come from. Google, they do no evil, so we're good. And that's where most of our things come from. And the same with user agents. Now, everybody's device here has a user agent on it. Whether it's telling the truth or not is irrelevant. You have a user agent in your system. You can hide it and do other things, but most people don't bother. So this one here is Windows 98. So Windows 98 systems come to our box. We know what version of the browser is and where it goes. If I see Polbot up there, or die, evil back, which you laugh, I've seen it. You know, let's say there's. I'm going to actually a bit later on. There's going to be some hugging going on if it keeps going. But no, so you've got this information. So what you're looking at is trying to baseline some norms in your company. You know, so we're all the same company, right? The corporate browser is Windows Internet Explorer 8. No problems there, yeah? We're good. So that's the same one. When I start seeing Chrome in those ones or Firefox, I know someone's A, broken policy and installed some evil software, what's this open source stuff, or Google, or there's something unusual going on. So there may be a different system coming to my network. So really simple stuff. This isn't rocket science, and this is all very, very back to the good old days of basic working out what our systems actually are. Finally, the last two bits I've got to agree in there is if I see a username in there, it's usually there's an authentication icon. So somebody's typed in the username password, so the Windows, the log systems recorded it, and the HTTP codes. 200 is good. 404, don't know where the hell it is. 503, ooh, time to call the web developer and say, what have you done there? You need to learn these codes and understand what they're doing. Redirects tend to be, so the 302 redirects can be a really good one to keep an eye out for. Why is your file system redirected to something else? Is it supposed to be doing that or not? And I'll get to that in a short bit. And finally, the white piece is time of day. Always handy to know when these events happen. So in this case, 14 years ago, we got hacked. Fantastic. And how much basically the size of the file we got. So when we picked up the file, it was this size, where we go. Again, that can be really useful, and I'll get to that when I talk about something later on in the presentation. Dick! So standard baseline. As I said, if you're an Australian company and you don't have any staff outside of Australia connecting to your VPN, you should really know that if you get Russian or Tor connections into that, it could be a bit of a problem. Okay? This isn't complicated, I'm not telling you anything, hopefully no one knows it, but we keep losing this battle, we keep losing this war because we just stop doing stuff. I mentioned the kind of normal request. So get index.html, really straightforward. If I start seeing this stuff where it's encoded, someone's trying to be cunning and hacksaw-like. If you look through your log files, you'll see this. I'm like kidding you not. Log up at home with VPS, stick a web server in it. You'll see this traffic all the time. It's people trying to get around your IDSs, IPSs, and WAFs. Have I missed any acronyms out? No, I'm good at the moment. So. And again, I mentioned the referrers. Referrers are actually brilliant ones to do that on. If I had a blog, at one point in time I became PayPal France. I was like, ooh, zut mon Dieu. That was awesome. What happened is my ISP, my web hosting provider at the time, had done this permission thing, and there were 30 different versions of PayPal France on the system. Appeared in my log saying, so forum, go from here. Away you go. It was just a phishing campaign. We were using my blog as a jumping point to do that. Really simple, but look at the logs, so instantaneously something bad was happening, something out of the norm. And user agents. User agents are a really, really straightforward thing. Really simple trick. And this goes back to the wonderful one about whitelisting. If you know your environment, you can whitelist all the standard web browsers you've got. When changes happen, you need to adapt to that. If you're looking at external web-facing sites, it gets a bit funky, but you can still do this for very, very large companies. Trust me, you can do it for very, very large companies. But when you start seeing outliers, now, I'm going to use the laser pointer thing. Zeus build. What could that possibly be? Is that malicious in any way, shape, or form? I'm doing my online banking and my user agent says Zeus build something, something, something. There's no problem there. Away we go. Oh, my money's gone. That's strange. These things happen more frequently. The bad guys, if you look at malware, they do this all the time. They use some really, really crazy bits of information on their user agents.
I like to put Zeus in the user agent screen for Zeus.
Yep. Remember, Apache, it's been outsourced. So I bought Zeus off you, and I customized it using the Apache kit. And I can't remember what version of Zeus I'm putting into it, so I just get a user agent. It gets worse. It's really, it gets worse. So, logs to rescue. I'm going to talk about kind of 4 different attacks that are very, very frequent. And if you're using logs intelligently and monitoring logs on a near real-time basis or real-time basis, that's what your SIMs are doing. That's what your detection systems are doing. So, scanning. Oh dear God. Right, scanning phase. We've just seen some guys doing some scanning, right? They're looking for, they do SQL injection attacks, they do Nmap attacks on it, they do everything. And these light up like a Christmas tree. Most people don't believe me. And for the super subtle ones, the guys that do it over months or years, you're buggered. Really, unless you've got a huge data set, you're carefully, but most people don't care. They're a bit like that. And what you can't see in that is, there's the scripting agent saying it's Nmap, 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 Nmap. I see this on a daily basis, and you guys probably do too. The other one you might see is, this is NICTO, which is a web testing bit of kit. Most of you guys are pretty used to it. The user agent actually says, I'm NICTO, and tells you the version. Okay? Hello? You can change that, it takes you 2 seconds to change that. Most attackers won't do it, especially the script keys and the hacktivist types. Don't bother about it. Now, Patrick's kind of mentioned DDoS, and I want to take you back away from the good old days of really clever stuff and take you back to LEET-DOSER tools. How old do you think this tool is? 2 days old. It was fantastic. So this is a particular group, Anonymous Ghost. They've got some wonderful artwork, things, fantastic, full marks for all their kind of graphics and whatever else. They've uploaded this by their Twitter things to take down the evil Americans. Really? No, really, this is. So you need .NET 3.5 on your Windows XP machine to run this, and then you double click on it, you type in, this is a good thing, right? You can't do IP lookups, so you put the URL in there, you hit connect, and it gives you the IP address. These guys are good. You then click start to attack, and port 80, and it uses this HTTP method to attack. And you can fast or slow. Fast, slow, fast, slow. Message, we want to really tell you stuff. They actually nicked this of someone else. They just rebranded it. What does the attack look like? Never be able to pick out any log files. Oh, not so much. Does that look like normal web traffic? No referrer field. It's picking your group directory. What the hell? Yeah, okay, it might be Google, but let's leave that alone. But you just see strings, and if you look, you can see the timestamps here. These are seconds. This is just flashing the crap out of it. If you click the other button, so that was button 1. Click that button, that's what happened. Click button 2. Steady. Oh! Anyway, so what will happen is you actually get the user agent saying it's incredibly obvious. It really just says pretty much attack tool. So you can pick this up and it does exactly the same thing, except for in the user agent it says an attack tool. Really? We can't spot this?
How many attackers still set the equal bit?
I wish they would, because then my next generation firewall would find it and stop it. Yay, firewalls. No, really, I mean, this is the whole thing. This stuff is really easy to pick out. And okay, so we know this is a layer 7 attack, so we can get the IP address of the attacking system. Yeah, they can use things like Tor and they can use anonymizers for getting those ones there. But then can you not bring up your ISP and say, hey guys, can you block that from happening, getting downstream to me in the first place? Yeah, you can. And that's what some large organizations have done. They just said, you know what, let's just kill this block off here. Tunisia, as an example, Let's just stop them from talking to us because we don't do business there. Phishing sites. Phishing sites. I can wax a little bit about this one, I'm not going to, I'm going to drink a bit quickly. So, your web server occasionally, as I've already mentioned, can become the next PayPal, Westpac, or whatever the hell it wants to be. Because bad guys simply just clone the site and drop a copy onto your web server. You've got no permissions on it, FTP upload, you've just horribly configured. You don't know what WordPress is, you've installed it, yay, I'm an IT administrator. I'm going to run my corporate blog from it. Never happens. Patrick never ever reported on things like that. It's great having Patrick here because it's like, he wrote a story about that, everything, basically. Just listen to his podcast. But really, you just see all these different sites. If a bad guy wants to claim the site, they will do. We've all seen the Westpac ones. I frequently get ones from Spanish banks for no apparent reason, and they point to some random website in Poland. Poland's the flavour of the month. Then in Brazil, then they'll come back to Australia. But they just do it because it's an easy target. These things are phenomenally simple to see in your web box. Really, if you start getting a thing that pops up, it mentions Westpac, and you're not Westpac, you should say, we've got a problem. I must go and talk to the lovely web developers. Finally, this is my favourite bit. So you've got a website, the bad guys have nicked your website, and they've copied it onto the website, but they're too lazy. They want to refer back, they use the code to refer back to your real live website. So you see these things coming straight back to you, asking for your banner, for example, or your spinning logo, or whatever else. You're going to tell me no one in their right mind does that, and it can't be successful in any way, shape, or form. I don't know who this group of people is. They send these really clever emails like that. So if I was, let's say, that particular group, I could have sent this email from Ash back then. They're going to say, no one in their right mind would fall for it. No one. Stop it, Chris. No one's going to fall for that. Oh dear. The Onion. That's the real email The Onion got. Okay? And for those who can't read it, dear Onion journalists, so random person there, please read the following article for its importance. Link. Thanks and regards, your bestie. And guess where that went? That went to a compromised website that went off to a fake portal that looked like an OWA login page. Unfortunately, the Onion journalists were like, must read that article. This must be some satirical mess. Click, owned. The Syrian Electronic Army did a much better job, some of the press releases and stories, than the Onion did for a while. Some of the stories were brilliant. No, you didn't read it? Seriously, they were brilliant until they were removed. Saturdays. But, so these things happen. But as a defender, you can use this to find out. So if you suddenly see someone connecting back to you, fantastic. Look for the logs. This is all there. This information was all there. That's how they were able to document it so easily. Yay, Syrian Electronic Army. Thank God they haven't targeted the US military. Oops. If only Obama had mentioned something about cyber war in Syria. Moving on. Web shells. Web shells. For those of you that haven't seen this is a remote administration tool for web admins that are too lazy to log onto servers using SSH. Don't know what that means, but it's some sort of tool thing you can command on myself. This is a GUI that allows me to do stuff. So all I do is I upload this PHP thing. Don't know what PHP is? Don't have to be, just upload this web shell for free. It's on Google. I upload this, and it gives me a GUI of how to run my Linux web server. So as an MCSC, thank you. Seriously, thank you. I can click on buttons, and if I want to go, I can type in commands. So I Google something like how to do a dir, which means ls. Who knew? What a stupid thing, list, directory list, I don't understand. Type it in there and you get this. So, you know, if you knew anything about Linux, for example, you might be able to pull up the password file or the shadow file if this is running as root permissions. That would never happen. Now what you can't see is the URL for this is it's love.jpg. So it's a picture of a heart. Isn't that sweet? No, it's actually a PHP shell. This is, had you Googled this for probably about 3 weeks ago, you would have had quite a lot of these web shells around there that are renamed. They allow their attacker to actually connect to love.jpg, and it's actually a PHP shell. So you can muck around with some of the HTTP access files, and hey presto, it's no longer a JPEG you're actually accessing, it's actually a PHP file. Terrifying. And people don't notice it because it's a pretty picture of a love heart, or an ocean, or a sea, or two unicorns kissing, and whatever else. But no, it's actually a shell. And my favourite one about this one was when we found this particular one, it was 404.php. I know what 404 is. Every website should have 404. That's when you get that stupid message saying, hey, you're an idiot. You can't find the file. No, it was actually a web shell. Now, look at one of these things are really great. I mentioned PHP can do anything, and those that looked at Mount Docs, if you looked at one of his previous posting, he mentioned that you do SSH in PHP, and he did it in 3 days. Security fundamentals at its best. Code review isn't required when you're doing it. So, really simple thing to the shells here. It's actually referring back to itself. So in the refer field, it's saying, I'm getting this file and referring back to itself. Really straightforward to find. Really simple. So, you need to sell this to your boss. If you don't sell this to your boss, they won't pay any attention to it at all. You can say, this is fantastic, I'll do this. We need to go through and say, look, it's a boss, it's great for all these purposes. Second, I can actually use it for baselining in the company. Helps me do these anomalies. It's not just attacks, it's downtime as well. So you can actually post these different fields out and work out how they go through. And finally, it's a great way to actually train your staff. Really good way of training your staff. They can go through these logs and look at them. Road to happiness. Once you've worked out how to use log files, you need to automate this process. If you don't do that, you're going to go mad and blind very quickly. Okay? Practice. Review the logs. Actually work out what should be in them and how to do things in those steps. And if you don't know how to do this stuff, turn around to your friends and say, hey, how do you do this? What does this log? If I'm not a Cisco guy, talk to a Cisco guy. Find out what should be in the log files and how to do it. Still, make friends, steal their ideas. Now, one place to ask for help is, said, Internet Storm Centre is a great place you can drop out. Scott over there, turn around and look at the people in the room here. Make friends, steal their ideas. Seriously, you have to ask them. We don't all have the answers. There's no one in the room that has all the answers. If there are, well, it is God's country, I guess. A couple of references. These are really easy to find. You can just type in Google how to work logs. Finally, questions.